Hi people, I'm back. I'm here to talk about talk. I've got an email asking some really good questions about how the foots communicate to us and with us, and a lot of issues on that. So I'm going to try to lay it out to where you can get a good understanding of what we have with them. And it's several different things. The initial things that ever happened with us when the foots come around and was coming to my property and just letting me know they was there, they used to do a chirp thing. They'd make these chirp sounds off in the woods, just off from the bush in front of my house. But they'd be a little ways back. They'd make these chirp sounds. I'd get one over to my left, over to my right, and they just letting me know they was there. Then eventually they came up closer, where they was right in the bush, right up to my house, and their eye shine was right there. They, I'd go out and talk to them. You know, I knew they was there. I knew what they was, the whole bit, but it took a while before they got that friendly. And I'd go out and talk to them, and like one of the things they would do to communicate was like if I'd go out and talk to them and they were being quiet and I couldn't hear them, I knew they were right there, but they were being quiet and they wouldn't let me know they was there. They were just being quiet. I would just walk out in the middle of the yard and stand up and look at the stars. I'd just be looking around, not saying a word. Next thing you know, wham! I'm getting hit with acorns. It was funny. So it's like, hurry up and talk. Okay, so I just kept talking just like I do to you, and that worked out for quite a while, and pretty soon we got a little bit more communications. But actually communicating, I was asked if how Sharon has talked to him, and this is a little involved story, but I'll spit it out. One of our trips to Tennessee, I believe, is where this came from, or this was one that passed through with a group. I don't know, but I had one named Qual. And Qual was interested in me for the fact that, I hate to say it, but she said I look like her mate. So, okay, well, her mate died. And she just wanted to hang around, and she flat talked to Sharon, telepathically, but held a conversation with good English, just like any normal person would talk to you, but it was all telepathic. And one time we were going to a doctor's appointment. If I got that right, we're going to a doctor's appointment. We run down 315 in Ohio here, and Sharon was talking to Qual while I was driving, and I'm hearing she's literally talking out loud to Qual, and I don't hear Qual answering, but she's answering Sharon. And while she's talking, I interrupted Sharon. I said, ask Qual, I don't remember what it was I asked her now, ask Qual something, and before Sharon could open her mouth, Qual had answered Sharon. So she had heard everything I said too, but I didn't hear her. So that was one of the ways that they communicate, and that's for real. I mean, they're legitimately English language. I don't think all the foots have these abilities. These abilities, I don't know if they develop them from age or different groups, or some clans have it, some don't. I don't know. I just know they're not all the same. And I've had telepathic communications from the one called Flower that liked me real well. I sitting in my living room watching NASCAR. I used to do that a lot. And when I watch NASCAR, don't bother me. Leave me watch my races. So Sharon would go in on a computer in the bedroom, and Josh would sit and watch the races with me. Well, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, Sharon calls me. So I go to the door, and I say, what do you want? I mean, I was aggravated. I mean, in the middle of a good race, I get aggravated. So I said, what do you want? She says, I don't want nothing. You called me. She says, no, I didn't. I said, Josh, did your grandma call me? He said, no. Then I knew I'm hit telepathic. So I also knew it would have been Flower. So I go ahead and go outside, and somewhere she's out there. I could feel it when I went out the door. She used her powers to hit me in the head with, "Hey, Stacy," you know. But she used Sharon's voice. She used the voice of Sharon. What she got in her mind of Sharon calling me Stacy, what was in her mind is what she projected into my mind. Actually, Sharon's voice. So they do that. And there's many ways they reach you. It's like Sharon's first encounter was with Clyde. Clyde was the first big one she saw before I got to see it and actually knew their presence. I knew they was there, but I didn't know to what degree. Anyway, Sharon was out. She'll probably tell you the story, but she was out sunbathing and heard some ruffling in the woods. So she got up and went over to the porch and looked to see if she could see a deer down in our little gully. She couldn't see no gully, but she could still hear ruffling. Then pretty soon, she hears footsteps of a human walking heavy. And she's kind of astounded, and then she's kind of getting scared because she's like, "What's anybody doing down here?" So she's on the porch standing by the door, ready to go in the door and lock the door. Then all of a sudden, Clyde steps out. Big, black, beautiful I'm not an animal, but he's a big, black, beautiful thing. And he's well-groomed. You know, she has a picture she will show you. It happens to be a book called I can't remember the name of the book. Enoch. The book's called Enoch. He's on the picture of the book. Well, Sharon's seen this thing and she could never describe it. Then later I go out and I buy this book about Enoch. And this picture on Enoch, she said, is identical to what she seen in Clyde. So anyway, that's her version of what Clyde is. And he's standing there and she's watching him. And there's a long eye contact. And Sharon's afraid to move. She doesn't know what to think. And she's not believing her eyes. And he just looked at her and kind of cocked his head and said, "I'm leaving. Is there anything you want?" That was all just a telepathic thought. That wasn't actual words, but that was exactly what he thought and projected to her. So they have different ways of projecting their thoughts, and I know they know my thoughts all the time. Anything I'm thinking, like when Jan was alive, she had just a thought in her head. She wanted these rocks moved. She's going to have her son do it. And she got up the next morning. The rocks were in a big pile over here to move. They wasn't exactly where she wanted, but the rocks were moved. These like big, yard stones, what you'd use for a garden. Excuse me. And then she had a thought one time of wanting to move some flowers from in front of her trailer on around to the backside where she could see them out of her kitchen. She got up one morning and they'd been moved. She didn't speak out loud. She didn't tell anybody anything. But the Foots read her mind because they were her friend. And she was one of their best friends too. I mean, she didn't believe when I came down there to meet with Foots. She didn't believe what I was talking about until her and Sharon sat on the porch and seen down there where I was at that there was a couple around me that I couldn't see. I had no vision of, but they were right there by me, and it kind of flipped Jan out when she found out that I wasn't one of them bodies walking around down there. But anyway, they have a lot of ways of communicating. They have a vocabulary just like ours, if you're talking to the right ones. Like I said, they all don't have the same abilities, and I don't know how they acquire it. I don't know if it comes with age or what it comes with, but their abilities are different. And well, the story with Qual was she wasn't supposed to be where she was at. She was intrigued with that I looked like her mate. I guess it's the long beard or something. I don't know, but she wanted to hang around. She hung around here in our house in Columbus. A very funny story about that. My one older stepson, Sean, he just didn't want to believe in this. So Qual was at our back door, and Sean was in our kitchen, and Qual was staying cloaked. Except she would let her arm come out or let something come out so Sharon could see exactly where she was, but she didn't expose much. Anyway, she was right outside the back door, and she was showing herself, quite a bit of herself. And Sean's standing with his back to the back door. And Sharon told him, "Sean, if you turn around, you'll see Qual." You couldn't have turned him around with a jackhammer. He wasn't moving. No, I'm not looking. But the proof was right there behind him, and I think she was doing that just to get his attention because he's part of the family. But above and beyond that, she was taken away. She wasn't supposed to be here. She didn't want us to tell nobody she was here. And she said if they find her, we'll not see her again. We haven't. And Sharon was at the back door, I'm not the back, but the at our kitchen or bathroom window, looking out, and out in the country, my house. She was at the bathroom window looking out and seeing this. You guys ain't gonna believe this one, but she seen the Mothman. She didn't know it was a Mothman. She found out later what it was. The Mothman was hanging out in midair over the gully with Qual over his shoulder, and he had his wings kind of wrapped around her or something. And Sharon didn't even know what the Mothman was till we went to the Salt Fork meeting down there, and somebody had a little doll made up of Mothman, and Sharon bought it. And she says that's what had Qual, and it was a Mothman. So, like I said, there's a lot of things, a lot of critters come through that portal. It was at my house, and I guess that's part of it. They're all in another, not another dimension. I don't know. Maybe it is a dimension. I don't know. But there's a lot of them that have come through there. I've had stories from some other people in my neighborhood down in there, things they've seen. The people down in where I live in the woods don't want to talk about this. The only reason they talk to me is because I tell them I know. I go to them and I tell them I'm part of this. I know. So that's what's going on. I got other things to talk to you about. You people send me comments and ask me questions, and I have to start putting together a better answer. I reply on the comments, but those comments are making me come up with these videos, because I don't have occurrences with the Foots every day. Right now they're with me every day. This Dogman thing has brought them up that they are with me every day. I hear them constantly now. They woke me up out of my sleep yesterday morning. But that's all right. It's all right. I love them. They're doing what they want to do, and I'm just trying to go along with them. So all your encouragement, and I hope I can be of service to telling all you what's going on. I can only be honest with you about it. Thank you.